There was a time when people's opinion of me could make or break my day because I placed a lot of premium on it. But I have grown, thank God. I have now come to the place where people's opinion of me doesn't matter as much as it used to. Because the most important thing to me is my relationship with my God and what He knows about me. He doesn't have to think. He knows exactly who I am. He sees my heart like no one else can. And so as long as He knows who I am, as long as He knows what's on my heart, then I don't worry too much about what others have to think. However, I am not at that place where it doesn't matter at all. I still care to a certain degree people's view of who I am. Because after all, a man's reputation is important. And after all, I do care about people. I got a call last night from a church sister that gave me some pause and had me think about how people view me. She gave me a lecture on this whole thing about money. Wealth and prosperity are not the most important things in life. We are living in the last days when what we should be more concerned about today is the salvation of man. I smiled because I know that that is exactly what was being said when World War I broke out in 1914, over 100 years ago. But even so, there is some truth to that. Then I was reminded that Jesus Christ is our ultimate example. And He was a man of lowly means. After all, He was born in a manger, in a stable as it were, not in the inns like other children were. He never pursued wealth. He lived a humble, lowly life. All of that is true, but I had to tell my sister that the argument is weak for a number of reasons. One, Jesus was not a man of lowly means. We are talking about the Son of God. We are talking about the Creator of everything around us. Everything except, of course, the man-made. But even the man-made things can be attributed to Him because He was the one who gave us the power to create. So Jesus had no mission to come to earth to acquire wealth here. He owns the universe. So that's the first thing we need to get into context. The second thing that we need to be very careful about when we talk about Jesus being our ultimate example. Be careful with that one. Jesus never got married. Does it mean I should not? Jesus never owned a house. Does it mean that we should not? Jesus never went to university. He learned a trade. Does it mean that we should not seek for higher education? So let's be careful about the Jesus as our ultimate example bit. Because yes, He is my ultimate example, but my ultimate example of what? So let's be careful. The second thing about the argument that is weak is that people will tell you, and you hear it all the time, how Jesus said that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. But how many persons will tell you that in the very same conversation, Jesus promised that those who follow Him would have wealth and abundance both in this life and in the life to come? Did you know that? I was surprised recently when I asked that question in church, and quite a few persons did not know. Because we focus on what He said that seems to be against wealth and not focus on what He said that is pro-wealth. God has promised that His people would be rich. Riches and abundance are a blessing from God. And so I want to be understood. And what I want persons to understand is that I don't love money. I hate poverty. Jesus is my ultimate example. Jesus cared about people. He spent more time attending to the needs of people than He did preaching the gospel. There's this awesome experience where Jesus fed a crowd from one meal because He had the power to multiply the people's resources. And speaking of multiply, that is God's method of blessing. He always speaks about multiply. He told Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. But of course, what He was speaking about there was populating the earth. But He also speaks of His willingness to multiply your blessings, to multiply your wealth. Poverty is not of God. I live in a rural community. And I don't know who you are, but let me tell you what happens to me when I walk my community. When I see the zinc fences, when I see the old houses, when I see the houses that are under construction for years because people are struggling to complete them. When I see people in my community who I know are struggling, I am moved with compassion because I know that it does not have to be this way. It doesn't have to be. Like Christ, I care about the people, and I want to follow his example of doing something to help people. It's a passion that I have, it's who I am, and I don't think the day will ever come when I lose it. Because I know that it doesn't have to be this way. I know that it can be better, and I have seen it happen. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Another thing is people look at me and they remember how the partner plan went down. Well, let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. The happiest year of my life was the year that I operated the partner plan. Not because I was able to afford the things that I wanted, but because every night I went to my bed for a year on testimonies from people about how this thing was making a difference in their lives. People were able to do things that they were not previously able to do. The number of times people would call and say, "Thank you, Mr. Gilling, for this plan." The number of times that the staff would call me and tell me what people say when they come to the office. That was the happiest year of my life because I was making a significant contribution to people's lives. And it wasn't me. That's the beauty about it. It was not me. It was about us coming together as a people, because when we unite together and work together and support each other, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. Another elephant in the room that I have to face because I can't get away from it is that I have had the experience, the unfortunate experience of recommending other programs to people that did not turn out too well. And people remember those things. But I give thanks for my favorite verse in the Bible. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord. Romans 8:28. Now that I look back, I am grateful for those experiences. But we cannot spend all our time regretting past failures, but learn from them. They are learning experiences. Every time that you have a failure, you learn something new. And over the years, I have come to learn one very important thing. If you want to get something done right, do it yourself. I have created something that is much better than all the other programs that I've seen. Much better, much stronger than the partner plan. I pay to Flow approximately $6,000 every month for my internet service. I pay nearly $3,000 for my mobile data to have internet on my phone. I pay JPSCO between $12,000 to $15,000 every month for electricity. Some of you pay your insurance company every month your insurance premium. Every month we have expenses that we pay consistently that make the corporate world rich. What if you were able to put something down every month that gives you an income that keeps increasing, that keeps multiplying? That is what I have created. I've created something that allows persons to make a small monthly contribution and get themselves a monthly income that keeps increasing, where you can make an extra $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, $600,000 every month coming to you because of the power of the good old Jamaican partner and network marketing. Something that can change lives. There's a program that my church operates that I think is quite commendable, where members are able to contribute $150 per month, a measly 150 Jamaican dollars. And in the event of their death, their family will receive $150,000 toward funeral expenses. That is 1,000 times the monthly contribution. Again, it's a good program, but it's a program that you benefit from when you die. What if you had something that you could contribute to that gives you a benefit when you are alive, to help you to take care of your daily living expenses, to help you to afford the things that you wanted to afford but could not afford? I tell you without apology that poverty is not of God. When we come together as a people, to support one another and to work toward a particular goal, there is nothing that we cannot achieve. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about a love of money. It's about a hatred for poverty. And I can tell you this much, poverty is not of God.